Welcome, 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 everybody, to the Friday night build show. I'm your host, Benestrino, over here at the Empower Gaming Studio, building yet again, you guessed it, another PC. Seems like that's all we do here, right? But welcome, everybody. I hope everybody has good plans for the holiday weekend. Maybe they're getting away, escaping. Good evening, Army Vet. Welcome, sir, to another build show. We are building another PC today. Hope your evening's going well. Maybe somebody kicked on the heat up north for you. I think it's warming up there now, right? Maybe finally close. What's up? How's it going? Chocolate. What's up? How's it going, man? All right, let's go ahead and flip over. We're just going to dive right into it. This is probably going to be at about an hour, 15-minute build. I'd expect about an hour and 15 minutes to build this. Get through the actual specifications here in just a moment. All right. So let's flip it over to a top-down view and let's run through the parts, guys. 70s today. Nice. Well, that's pretty good. 70s is pretty good, right? It's gotta be a record. No, definitely not. Well, let's go ahead and run through these parts real quick. So, to start, we have, as you can see, another AMD build that we're going to be doing. If you haven't caught on already, it's an AMD build with an RTX graphics card. But this is actually a rebuild of one of our weekly drops that we had listed on the website. So if you wanted to go check it out, you could go check out our weekly drops and look for the one that's got the Sky 2 tower, which has got the tempered glass on the front and the side. But start with the CPU, which is an AMD Ryzen 5 5600. It's got 6 cores, 12 threads, maximum boost of 4.4 gigahertz. So this is an AM4 processor, so we're going to be putting it on an AM4 motherboard. And we're running the ASRock Phantom Gaming 4 AC, which is a B550 chipset. This is a full ATX motherboard. It's also got the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth built into it. So there we have our connectivity requirements by most people that are switching over to PCs. We're going to be cooling this CPU with a Frozen Note 360 black addressable RGB cooler by Thermalright. One of my favorite coolers to use in builds. It's got the inline pump. It's got 120 millimeter fans, 3 of them, and they are addressable RGB and PWM. The block has also got a mirror RGB finish to it, so it's really cool looking. And you're kind of getting the idea of this build, right? It's a great build to start on because the core components are there for easy upgrades. For example, the 750 watt 80 plus gold power supply that we're going to be throwing in there is probably overkill for an RTX 4060, yes. But the idea is that if and when Mr. Griffin is ready for an upgrade in the future, we would be able to just swap out the graphics card, not have to worry about upgrading the power supply. And same thing with the CPU upgrade. You just swap out the motherboard and not have to worry about a cooler upgrade. We've also got 32 gigs of DDR4 3200 MHz CL16 RAM by Team Group, which is the T-Force Vulcan Z set, 2 sticks of 16, and then a 2 terabyte M.2 NVMe Gen 4 SSD. Super fast. I think this one's like 5,000 megabits per second is its read-write speeds. And we're going to be building this in a Montech Sky 2, which you're familiar with. I've used them here on the stream several times now. That is a awesome case. I love the case. It looks cool. does really good with airflow. I've really enjoyed it. But that is the build out. But that's the idea of the build is here's a great starting point and even easier future upgrades. And then, of course, the RTX 4060 that we're going to be running, which is 8 gigs GDDR6, 128-bit on PCIe 4.0. It's a great graphics card to start out with. I wasn't a fan at first, and I'm still kind of on the fence where I could say or tell somebody, if somebody says, should I buy the RTX 3060 or should I buy the 4060? And it really comes down to VRAM. Do you need the VRAM? 4060 is what I just tell people to go with now at this point, or just wait for the new series to come out, because the new stuff is going to be out soon, right? So coming soon. The wallet near. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. How about that? Just jump right into it, you know? Should have this build done in about an hour. About an hour. Let's do it. Here's our ASRock B550. It's a Phantom Gaming 4. And then we're going to drop this Ryzen 5 5600 in there. Go ahead and zoom on in. Get a nice close-up of this board's features. TikTok fans, if you want a close-up look on this, you'll have to switch over to either Twitch or YouTube or any one of the other channels. There's our Ryzen 5 5600 CPU that we're going to be dropping into the socket here momentarily. Done. Well, gee, that was easy. Moving on to the RAM. We're going to be putting that in A2 and B2. The slots, those are the slot numbers. That's 32 gigs of DDR4 3200. TL16 T-Force, Team Group T-Force Vulcan Z. I think you could get it on Amazon for around $55 right now for this kit. Pretty good price. I remember not too long ago when DDR4 32 gigs was closer to almost $100. That's how far we've come. All right, next up is our 2TB M.2 NVMe Gen 4 SSD. We'll be dropping that into its sockets. The M.2 slot is what we're going to be using here, and I do have an M.2 for this. Two terabytes is a really good, healthy amount of storage to start out with. Not going to be running out of storage anytime soon. Not very quickly, at least. Alright, so there we go. Got the AMD Ryzen CPU installed. We've got our 32 gigs of RAM installed, and our 2 terabyte M.2 SSD. I'm going to lift this up and give the TikTok viewers a good look at it. So it's a separate camera. We're ready to go and get the case out. So let me go grab the case. I'll get you guys zoomed out. And we'll start putting this, we'll start by mounting this into the case. Now for the case, like I mentioned before, the Montech Sky 2 in black. Excellent case. I know some of you have probably already seen me build with this case before, but it's one of my favorite cases. Probably top 5 favorite. Super easy to build in. So that's one of the main reasons why it's like probably one of my top 5 favorites. Just how simple it is to build inside of it. Let's tear down these panels and get those removed. We gain access to our hardware that we need. All right, now we're ready to drop this board into the case. But first, the most forgotten thing, let's go ahead and make sure we install this I/O shield. A lot of people forget these, and trust me, it is a pain in the butt if you forget to put this in first. Especially when you're putting all the parts back into a box and you're like, huh, what's this? And then you find out what it is. Soul kind of hurts from the inside out. I don't know how many times I've actually done that. But I've gotten pretty good of late not having back in maybe once in the last year out of all the PCs I built I've had to do it. Where I accidentally missed it. That's a pretty good track record, if you ask me. I guess if you do enough of one thing, you're pretty good at it, right? Alright, so now I'm going to get the hardware out for mounting. Basically, it's just the screws that mount the board to the case. And we need 9 of them for this particular board. And Montech is really nice about this, and they actually label their bags, motherboard, MB, SSD. So these could be both used for the motherboard and the SSDs, which would be 2.5 SATA at 3. and the motherboard. One little tab on the back. Gotta make that square. There. Much better. There is actually also on this board one stud that we could put here. And I'm going to put it on there. I'm about doing things right. Just to make sure we're doing it right, you know? All about that. If you miss a stud, generally it's not a problem, too big of a deal, but it could be supportive to the board, and it could cause problems later down the road. Could be a grounding thing. Could cause problems with grounding. These are grounding points, or at least the power supply is grounded. But typically not a problem unless it's touching somewhere where it isn't supposed to. But you want these mounted. And typically, if you're an enthusiast and you know what you're doing, not the end of the world. Get away with 1 or 2 screws, that's it. But when somebody's paying you to build it, you should build it right. Right? Go. We got 4 of the 9 completed here, and then we can move on to something a little bit more exciting, like maybe that AIO or power supply installed so that we can get those EPS cables plugged in before we put the AIO in. Get those front panel connectors plugged in. This is actually a pretty breeze of a build, to be honest with you. Not bad. Got a couple more screws here, and then we can move on to getting the front panel connections plugged into the motherboard. And then we can do the AIO and the power supply. Well, the power supply, then the AIO. Gas cables in the right corner. The AIO is going to go to the top of the case. Let's get these cables plugged in. USB 3 here. Then I didn't check for the rest. Crystal RGB. That's pretty much yeah. Rest is all in the normal places. Let's get this undone. Route these cables. Really, the USB 3 is the only one that has to redirect back up here. The rest of these can pretty much stay as is. HD audio connection here. Connection. Then our PWM fan connection. And then our front panel power button. Power reset, etc. And pull that one out. Get those plugged in now. Flip it over, plug it in. Addressable RGB audio, front panel connectors, USB 3, all of it's plugged in. We're good to go. Let's move on to the next step, which is let's put a power supply in there. Or, you know what, let's put this bottom fan in. We need to do that. That's probably important. Maybe a little bit important, I don't know. Yeah? Before we get too far, anyway. Well, the RGB is definitely going to be running back up top. The hublet. This is a reversed fan. What that means is the blades are reversed. So it looks like I'm putting it in the wrong way, but I'm actually setting up as intake, not exhaust. And it can, there's vents on the side, or there's mesh on the side, and it allows airflow to be pulled in from the bottom and the side of the bottom portion of the case, the basement area. You can actually add one more 120 millimeter fan if you wanted to. You can buy these individual fans from Montech and add more to them. There's also different flavors of them as well. So you're not limited to just these types of fans from Montech. They have all sorts of different fans. They're actually pretty cool looking. We're going to be doing another Montech build tomorrow. There was somebody in here the other day asking me about the King Pro versus the Lian Li 216. That would probably be a good stream for him to watch. See how we're building inside the Montech King Pro. And also I can answer pretty much any questions there live on stream with him. If he had any specifics on the case. I wanted to see it before he bought it. Something I can do. You know? What I'm here for. So now that we got that fan, at least mounted, cables, yeah, push through, we can go ahead and get that power supply in here. When I say power supply, pretty much just trying to get the EPS cables in here. May not install the actual power supply yet. Might just wait on that. Or do I just put it all in and call it a day? No? Or let's just put it all in. No funny guys in the chat today saying that's what she said? I'm surprised. A lot of available options there for jokes. Left wide open. Power cord. Holes. Tester. Here's our Segitep 750 watt 80 plus gold power supply. The reason why I target these, main reason, is not only because their price and their quality is actually pretty good, but it comes with that PCIe 5.0 connector that I always talk about, especially for NVIDIA lovers or NVIDIA builds. So 5000 series, NVIDIA, I believe, is driving the 12 volt high power PCIe 5.0 connection, which means you're going to need that connector, preferably without using the adapter. I hate the adapter. I always tell people, if they are unfortunately using the adapter, spend the money on a power supply, get yourself on the 5.0, eliminate the failure points. Adapters are cheap. They're cheap. The direct connection from the power supply to the graphics card is what I always recommend. But NVIDIA is going to be pushing that connection on all of their cards. So, be ready for that. If you're buying a new power supply, make sure you're getting one with a PCIe 5.0 and ATX 3.0 ready power supply. It will basically make you ready to go for all of NVIDIA's new shenanigans. Oops. My hat decided we're going to brush the microphone. I don't make this stuff up, it just does what it wants to do, you know? I keep forgetting to remove this song from the list. I don't even know how it got in there. I must have accidentally added it when I was half asleep going through music one day. It just doesn't fit very well. Right? You guys agree with that? Music? This one just doesn't match the rest of it. Seems a little off. Me. Go. And we're going to do it with the fan facing down after peel. Always want to try to remove these peels when you find them. If you don't, they could potentially get sucked back into the fan, and when they finally fall off, then they'll make it sound like a, you know, cardboard on a bicycle wheel dirt bike sound. But much smaller, much more annoying, like mosquito annoying level. Now, alright, we'll slide that power supply in. We need to get the screws out of the packaging. And it's 4 screws to mount this bad boy to the back of the case. Plug in the 2 connections. Yes, and the 24 pin. Then we can move on to the AIO. Smell like a wet dog. EPS cables going in. Here we are. EPS cables plugged in, power supplies installed. Let's go ahead and throw this AIO in here. Drop a graphics card in. Do a little bit of cable management magic. Try to say that 5 times fast. Then we can fire this thing up and see what it looks like finally, right? We're getting close. We're getting real close. Read that upside down. The frozen note. Is it not? I always call it the note. We gotta flip these fans around again. Every time. There's been like 1 or 2 coolers that have the fans on the right, the cables on the right side. And then all of a sudden we're back to this whole, they're on the wrong side again. Shenanigans are getting old, Thermalright. Okay, I love doing this. One thing if they're just not installed, another if they're just facing the wrong way. Most people put the tubes facing the front. Very common. Almost all builds. You have a fan in the rear, so why would you want your tubes rubbing up on a fan? Almost every case. That is the design now. The thought process behind putting the fans is maybe it was to make me ask questions. Damn it! Oh, look what you made me do. Don't say that word. Bad word. There we go. Now that they're facing the right direction, we can proceed with undoing the 15 billion twist ties that are also involved with this cooler. Alright, now each one of these cables has their own individual twist tie. So you're going to spend about 5 minutes doing what I'm doing. Having fun undoing these. This is something you like doing. we do have a job position available for you. Official untwisty the twist tire key. I don't know. We'll have to think about that title. Senior twist tie specialist. Alright, so now that we've got all these cables freed up, we can throw it in there and hope it sticks, right? No. We actually got to get our mounting hardware out of the box. That way our screws are actually ready when we're one-handed trying to mount it. We don't have to open a packet. That's being one step ahead. That's called. That on there. That was our CPU PWM, CPU fan header PWM splitter. That splits the connection to all the fans. Here's our actual radiator screws. Those. Now we're ready. What I'm going to do is grab these longer RGB cables, stuff them through, get the radiator a little closer, then stuff the PWM connections through. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but kind of a pain in the ass. Try to give you a better view there. Christ, these kind of a pain. But I mean, every cooler has its own nightmare. Come on. By the way, guys, that what you just witnessed takes skill. You gotta be really good with your screwdriver. Got all 4 of our corners, and we'll finish up the rest. Actually going to be due for a new screwdriver here. One head is starting to wear. I can feel it. Hey, what's up, Scotty? Oh, hell yeah. We on the talk now. Yeah. What's up? We're on TikTok, but it's like this 7-day trial bullshit. I have no idea what's actually happening with TikTok. What's up? I am just building another computer, man. Another day in the paradise. The Empower Paradise. Put this top back on. All right, guys, here we go. Oh, gotta pull one more cable through. Oh, all right, now we'll show you. There we are. Starting to look like a gaming PC, yeah? Man, life has been so crazy lately. Sorry, haven't been around. Yeah, no worries, man. Glad you stopped in somewhere. Remembered you existed, right? Can't forget Scotty. Well, right on, man. Stop in sometime, hang out. Grab a drink. Chat. Let me know what your PC's life is doing. Haven't seen you been streaming either. Or at least I haven't noticed. What's got you so busy? Your wife making you do all sorts of projects at home? Or is work keeping you? Ah, shyster. On. Absolutely ridiculous to remove. No LOL work. Gotcha. Samesy, man. Been busy. There's our thermal pasties that we added. And we're blocking the CPU finally. Yeah. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah, you were playing with the hose? Computer is doing great. Awesome. Just on vacation right now. Alright, now that we've got the block mounted, I'm going to send the rest of these to the back. They all got to get plugged in back here. If I could... There we go. Maybe... Oh, yep. Okay. Got it. We have a pump connection because it's an inline pump. Back as well. Meant to be. All right. There we have it. Now all we got to do is drop a graphics card in, flip it over, do some cable management, and fire this bad boy up. Let's do that. Sometimes it doesn't start up and I have to restart it, but other than that, it's great. Well, that's kind of concerning. That sounds more like a memory issue or CPU, depending on what it's doing when it doesn't want to start, like sitting at a black screen or failing to boot to your disk. I mean, SSD. You know, stuff like that. But you know where to find me once you're ready to troubleshoot that. There's our RTX 4060 graphics card by Zotac. Ah, the peel just ruined the whole show. Well, oh yeah. Hey, what's up? Just finishing up the graphics card install. Then we have the most favorite thing of all, the cable management on the backside that we're going to have to deal with here in just a moment. That is the most exciting part of the build. 100%. Most exciting part of a build. This is obnoxious. Trying to wiggle this cable in. There's a PCIe kind of port that you're supposed to run this cable through, and it's a tight fit with the hard drive tray there. You could remove the hard drive tray. It would make it a little easier. I really don't feel like removing that tray. I'm just gonna squeeze my fingers in there and get it. There we go. PCIe cable, and we're going to plug it into the graphics card and zip tie this down. Extra cable back into the slot. Super simple. But that's what a badass PC looks like. Look at that. Tax your time. Alright, so now the last piece is the cable management, which is dealing with this bundle of joy, right? Well, you already know that. What GPU is it? It's the RTX 4060. The RTX 4060. The most, well, I mean, we're almost there at the post, and you can watch it from the comfort of your own couch. We're almost there. Almost there. I feel like that dude on Star Wars. Almost there. Attacking the Death Star. And he misses. And he has to leave it to the cadet. Luke Skywalker. Anybody know what number and color Luke Skywalker was in Star Wars while attacking the Death Star? The New Hope? What was his X-Wing call out? Does anybody remember that? I can't be that old, guys, and still remember it. You like Star Wars, but not that much. Oh, come on. Somebody's got to know it. Somebody has to know it. Other than me. There's tons of people here. How do we not know? Red 5. Call out. Little Star Wars trivia action there. Oh. Show people how old I really am. Nice, looking good already. Yeah? Yeah. Green eventually. Right. That would be the lightsaber. I'm not talking about the lightsaber. Started out with blue, which was his father's, Anakin Skywalker. Then he made his own after he went and trained with Yoda in the Dagobah system. That's how he got his green lightsaber, I think. He built his own. Part of... Ah! You gotta be kidding me! What were you doing hiding over there, you thinker? Talking to the people, you know? We're just hiding over here, hoping that you don't notice us. We gotta go. It's all over, so time to head home. Nice. Eventually. Have a great rest of your stream. Thank you, sir. We'll see you around, man. Catch you some other time. And have a good weekend with your family, sir. Almost there. wrapping up this cable management, and then we'll fire it up, see what it looks like for the very first time. Barking at. What do you guys think of that cable management, though? Is that clean or what? Tell me it's not clean. And now, who is ready to see this thing fired up for the very first time? Now there's one person out there ready to have this running. I've also noticed my chat is not working correctly. When anybody tried to chat with me earlier, and find out that Facebook group streaming update. Okay, lovely. I don't know. Hopefully. I think I'm just gonna have to break them all out. Kind of a pain in the butt, but... Or we just start streaming to one single platform. Or two. Go! Our back panel's on. Peel that sucker off. Y'all ready to see this thing fired up? All right, here we go. Let's do it. Oh, yeah. Dang! That thing is sweet. Yes, sir. It is. It's looking pretty smooth. I mean, I did build it. I'm joking. I'm not. Can't take all the credit, okay? Montech made a wonderful looking cooler Montech made a wonderful looking case, and Thermalright made a wonderful looking cooler. Looks awesome. Happy birthday, Griffin. Yes, sir. Griffin, happy birthday, sir. Looking forward to getting this into your hands as soon as possible. I am going to be I will be installing Windows because we just got a post, so that's always a good sign. That means everything's working, right? The CPU, the RAM, the motherboard, the graphics card, it's all working to the point where it can post. But we're going to install Windows, and then we're going to install drivers, all the updates. We're going to do some fine tuning, make sure the BIOS is up to date, and we should have this ready to go by tomorrow. So be on the lookout for an email, Stefan or Steph. Make sure you're keeping an eye on your email, letting you know when it's ready for pickup. And also for awareness, Sunday and Monday we are closed. We will not be available for pickup. And if you need support, just give me a call or shoot me a text, and I'll do what I can there. But for pickup, I won't physically be available. Well, that's all, guys. Folks over on TikTok, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Have a good night over at TikTok. We'll see you next time. And everybody else over on Twitch, YouTube, and everywhere else, we're going to be ending here as well. My next stream, I'm going to try to do another build stream tomorrow. I just have to make sure all the parts are here for the build. It is a RTX 4090 build with a Ryzen 9 X3D processor. So it's a super awesome, huge build, and it's going to be in the Montech King Pro case. So very similar, design, but it's going to be in the larger King Pro case. As this case, similar to this, but it's going to be a larger version of it. So if you want to check that out, definitely catch tomorrow's stream. And thank you everybody for hanging out. If we don't see you tomorrow, make sure you have a good holiday weekend, and tell all of the those who've served, thank you for their service. Sounds nice. You'll try to be there. Well, come on in, Jar Dirt. You know the dirt in a jar. I always mix that up. The dirt in a jar is always welcome. But you have a good rest of your evening, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.